Tanas, all the ensachladba kaba insaika shawash tipsu house, pinanich insaika chi shix tot j, but elip ensatuan chi wawa.
Chi tanaswawa.
La Camus, La Camus, La Camus. Yampa, Yampa, Yampa. Ainos, Ainos, Ainos. Shawash tea, Shawash tea, Shawash tea. Alda and Saika Slaughter Kaba and Saika Shawash Tipsu house.
We're socially distanced and outside, so I can take my mask off today to talk to you so you can hear me better. And hello, my name's Jeremy Ojua, and I'm the Native Plant Nursery Supervisor here at the Natural Resources Department for the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. And today we're visiting the Tribal Native Plant Materials Program. Basically what we do here is we grow native plants. A native plant is a plant that's like natural to the area. So all the plants that we're growing here are from Grand Ronde and the Willamette Valley, and this is their home, and we're growing more of them. And the idea is to grow a whole bunch of these plants so we can put these good plants out on different properties that belong to the tribe out here in the community. Plants have a lot of great uses. You might not even realize it. If you're wearing a pair of jeans today, you're wearing plants. So plants are used to make our clothes, they're used to make tools. We use plants for the wood that we build our homes out of. We also use plants for food, like our vegetables that we eat, and we also use plants for medicine. So all the plants that we're growing out here have a use. They're either food, medicine, or can be used to make into tools. Here in both the raised beds, on my right and on my left, we're growing plants that are for food. Right here on my right, we have a plant that's known as Yampa. Yampa is our native carrot. This is the carrot that grows naturally in our area. Right now, the carrots have flowers on them and they're attracting a lot of bees and butterflies this time of year. But underground, if we were to pull one of these up, there's little carrot roots, and you can take those roots and you can just eat them raw. You could cook them like a cooked carrot. You can smash them up and make them into a flour that could be made into like almost like a bread. So Yampa is a really good food, and it's fun to grow. This whole bed is full of an important flower known as Camus. Camus is a purple flower that grows here in the valley, and this time of year it looks like it's just dirt, but that's because this plant's life cycle, it's a perennial, which means its life cycle is that it grows every year. It makes flowers and seeds, and then the top of the plant dies off, falls down, and the root stays alive underground. And then next year it does the whole thing over again. So right now, all the plants have already got their flowers, already dried up and dropped their seeds off and fallen over. And we can't see the plant because it's under the dirt and it's just the root. The root is a very important thing because that's the part of the plant that you eat. And this was a very important food in the Willamette Valley, and you would gather all the bulbs up and you would cook them in a pit underground. Here's some pictures of what the bed looks like rest of the year when it's in flower. So most of the time this whole thing would be green leaves and stalks, and then in the late summer or early summer and late spring would be full of purple flowers. And here you can see what the bulbs look like that you would dig up and eat. In fact, I even have some digging sticks here. This is the stick that you would use to dig a bulb. We might even be able to hop in there and dig a bulb up. Would you guys like me to do that?
Sure.
This digging stick is just a strong piece of wood that's been hardened in a fire and carved down so it has a nice little scoop on the end, and then the handle is made out of an elk or deer antler so you can hold on to it. And you wiggle the stick in the ground where the camas was growing. Sometimes you have to go real deep, and we'll see if we can pull a bulb up. There it is. So there we found a camas bulb, and you could go along and dig up a whole bunch of these. and it's a very nutritious food. Hey, we got 2. Hey, we got 3. All right, there's lots of them in here. We're growing all kinds of native plants in pots. Also down here in the field, we're growing rows of plants, and we use these plants to grow up to collect seed. And that seed, once we harvest the seed, will go out into different sites and we'll grow more plants out in the field. If you want to come in the greenhouse, I'll show you some of the plants we're growing in here. Down here on the corner, we have a cool plant called Yerba Buena, and this is a traditional tea. So this is a plant that grows out in the woods, kind of in the oak tree forest, on the ground like this. And you can pick the leaves and dry these little leaves up, and they smell really good, kind of like lemon and mint. And when you dry the leaves up, you can make a really good tea that's healthy for you. And this is the tea that everybody in the Willamette Valley like to drink. Also over here, grows really well in the greenhouse. This is a native tobacco. And it has a nice white flower on it. And the tobacco this time of year is starting to grow seeds. So I'm harvesting the seeds. Everywhere that there was a flower, when the flower dries up, will turn into a little brown pod. And inside that pod is a whole bunch of tiny seeds. So I'll collect all these seeds and we'll save these seeds to give out to community members that want to grow their own tobacco, or I'll save it to grow more tobacco for next year. I'm going to plant these back on the ground. So one of the big things we do is harvest seed from all these plants. Here we have some of the seed that we've harvested and some that I'm working on right now. So when the plants are ready, I go through and cut all these seeds off, and then I have to collect all the seeds out of the pods, and then we bag them up and then we save them for next year, and we either use them for our own sites to grow new plants or for our partners and other agencies to grow plants. Also harvesting, here's an example of plants being used as a tool. This is stinging nettle, and you can use stinging nettle to make rope. An example is my bracelet here is actually some rope made out of a piece of stinging nettle. I've been wearing this for about 4 months. It's very strong, and that's just rope made from a plant that we're growing. Here we're growing all kinds of trees and shrubs in little pots. All these plants will be used for different restoration sites that the tribe has, and our biologists here at the Natural Resources Department will work together to plant these out in the field. We're growing little oak trees, native apple trees, Indian plum, cascara, maple, snowberry, more yerba buena, roses, all kinds of good stuff. And a lot of these plants either produce food or produce wood that can be used for tools. So the oak trees, when they get big, they'll produce acorns that can be used to make acorn mush and food out of. The dogbane on the end, it's kind of just a bush, and when it gets tall, you can use the stem to make rope, kind of like the stinging nettle. And pretty much everything out here has a good use. Thanks for coming out here today and visiting us at the Natural Resources Department and seeing our native plant nursery. If you ever have any questions about plants or any interest in plants, feel free to get a hold of me.